Welcome to Postgame on the Pitch. My name is Jackson Feltz of Sports Radio 950 KGR. With me today are Toby Dunkelberg and Stephen Agen of Prost Soccer here in Seattle, and Andrew Harvey of Sportspress Northwest, as well as the voice of S2 Soccer. We have a good game to break down, guys. A 1-0 victory for the Seattle Sounders over the Houston Dynamo this evening at CenturyLink Field. Cristian Roldan sends a cross into Bruin, who heads it into the goal. That is the difference maker in tonight's match, as the Sounders pick up 3 points and jump ahead in the Western Conference standings. So talking about this one, let's jump in with Cristian Roldan and the great weekend he had, Toby. He gets the assist tonight. He gets, over the weekend, it's his birthday weekend, and he also gets called up to the preliminary Gold Cup roster for the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, I know. This week for Roldan's kind of been a confirmation on a lot of things that have been happening this year and last year. You know, comes a starter. Today he's in kind of a different role. He gets put in that forward band of three. Something he hasn't really been used as a lot in the Sounders. Traditionally, he's been kind of played more as a central defensive midfielder. He's been getting out at right back a couple times. But he plays in that forward band. You know, he combines well. It seems like when he got pushed back to the right back, things opened up. But I don't think that's really his fault. It seems like that was more of a result of kind of different people playing in the attack and a little different look. And then he gets that assist, just like you're saying. You know, he's playing on the right, in the right spot at the right time, and launches, as Bruin said, you know, a perfect cross right to his head, and Bruin taps it home. Or knocks it home, you know?
A much better 22nd birthday for Cristian Roldan than I had, which I believe was spent playing FIFA. But, you know, I guess that's the nature of being a professional athlete, right?
So Bruin is on the end of that Roldan cross. He scores against his former team. How sweet was that for him?
You know, I mean, 6 years, 50 league goals for the Houston Dynamo. Bruin, I think he's fondly remembered by the fans there. Maybe not so much after he kind of, selling
the 2 thumbs up to the ECS.
You know what? I asked Will about it. Here's the thing, right? You score in front of 40,000 people at the dime into the game, and you're standing there with the flamethrowers going off right over your head. It's tough. It's tough not to celebrate. You can't expect a guy not to. Look, he's played through a lot, dislocated his elbow. He's an old warrior, and the brace really interfered with the way he likes to play in that attacking third, but he got the job done, and that's why they brought him in. Brought him and said, listen, you're meant to play when we can't have Jordan Morris, when we don't have Clint Dempsey. Well, they don't. You played, you scored, they won.
And one of the things, we were in the post-game press conference, or his media scrum, that we were all just around, he was actually showing us just how much he's able to flex his arm, and it's amazing. He can't even stretch it out fully. And yeah,
I think he's going for the curl effect.
You think he's just showing it off a little bit?
Meaningless lifts, man. Meaningless lifts.
Another guy who had a great game for the Seattle Sounders tonight, Jovan Jones. He was a part of many different attacks. He was trying to cross the ball in the first half, almost scored. Andrew, what kind of difference does he make for the Sounders when he's on top of his game and able to contribute both at the back end on defense and then on the attack?
You take a look at Jovan Jones' stat line, 90 touches on the ball tonight. That's 4th on the team, which doesn't sound like it's phenomenal. Then you remember that he's a left back.
Right.
He is, for my money, the best left back in MLS right now. I don't think that's necessarily a hot take. A lot of people are kind of like, yeah, Jovan Jones is pretty good.
Right.
But, completes 78.8% of passes, which when you remember a lot of those are crosses coming into the middle. He's developed into not just an important part, but really kind of the pivotal portion of this team as they attack down the left side. I think teams are starting to know that and they fear it.
When Nico Ladero doesn't get the ball in space for Seattle, really the only build-up option they have is to go through Jones down that wing.
Stephen, at first half, the Seattle outpossesses Houston 71 to 29%. Wasn't able to find that final touch or really a great chance in the first half. Any little bit of a concern there?
Yeah, there's a huge concern there, and to be honest, it's the same concern that Seattle's had for most of the season now. In that first half, they actually have more than 300 attempted passes and 3 shots. 100 attempted passes per shot is a horrible, horrible mark in that metric. And it didn't get a ton better for Sounders in the second half. They finished with more than 600 total passes, yet only 12 total shots. 50 attempted passes per shot is not going to cut it in this league. It's not going to cut it when Sounders have this level of dominance in games. They need to be putting people away better.
It's so not going to cut it that they have 3 wins in their last 4. Wait, hang on.
Fact is, Sounders have a lot more control in games than what the full-time score is exhibiting. And in a league like this, particularly in one-goal games like this, you're going to get burned on that at some point in the year.
First time in the entire season so far, Brian Schmetzer was able to field his first team back four of Brad Evans, Roman Torres, Chad Marshall, who had his third straight 100% passing accuracy game, by the way, and then Jovan Jones, of course. Guys, what does it mean for this team to have those four healthy, third straight shutout at home here, and it looks like they're back to the defensive performances that we saw last season?
I mean, I think it's fantastic, assuming that these guys stay healthy, which, you know, everyone finds some wood, knock on that. This is a group that has good chemistry together. All the training camp, the expectation was these were going to be the guys. Then Evans went down, then Torres went down, then Marshall went down, and it's been kind of a revolving door ever since. Now that they have that consistency, it opens up so many options. You use Gustav Svensson, who had a phenomenal game as a holding midfielder tonight, at his actual natural position, right, which isn't that nice. And then late in the game, if you have to swap someone out, Svensson can drop back and play back there. So I think to get those four back together now, especially before the international break, honestly, I'd rather they had another game next week so they could get one more together before they took a little time off. But a little more time to rest and heal up can't be a bad thing.
I'm glad you brought it up there, Andrew, because I do think Gustav Svensson is probably man of the match for the Seattle Sounders tonight. Just really brilliant, hits the bar on his one great chance, but a lot of other important tackles, important contributions beyond that really allowed Seattle, really allowed Cristian Roldan to get forward a little bit better than usual. I was really impressed. I think he did really well, and the other guy is Kovar for me, who looks like he could just maybe end up displacing Alvaro Fernandez in the starting 11 at some point.
He looked good coming back. Last thing for you guys, Toby, Steven, you came to me at halftime with something that I didn't catch, which was something that happened between the ref and Ozzy Alonso there. What was going on there?
You know, it's not just the ref and Ozzy Alonso. I think it's Kubo Torres and Ozzy Alonso there. Torres comes in on Alonso right over here, about 30 yards from goal. Sounders have the ball and catches Alonso a little bit late as he takes a touch away from the forward and I believe passes it away. Alonso takes exception to the challenge and kind of gives one of those behind him. He lashes out. He kicks out behind him, studs showing with the intention of raking his boot against his opponent. The assistant referee points it out like that. Baldomero Toledo walks over to Ozzy Alonso and has a short conversation with him as play goes on when this happens. I'm here to let everybody know that's a straight red card every day of the week.
Yeah, and that's really odd there too, is the AR points it out, Toledo goes over and he talks to him. And it seems like that's a situation where if you notice it, you can't just not call it, right? If you notice it, you go over there, you talk, you've obviously seen it, and you know exactly what that is. Every ref will tell you, at the very least, at like the bar minimum, that's a foul.
Toby, is this something that they can look at in this midweek and see if it deserves a suspension?
So we're not sure. I'm sorry to jump in there, Jackson.
Yeah, you know,
we're really not sure because frequently with disciplinary committee stuff, the idea is if the referees saw it during the match, like if you award a yellow for a bad challenge, the disciplinary committee normally, I believe, cannot go back and overturn it. Considering there was no call period in this case, I don't know if the referees being aware of the incident is enough to keep it from the disciplinary committee's hands. If they do see it, you have to believe it's a red card for Ozzy Alonso.
No, absolutely. I think what will probably wind up happening is, you know, basically the league has a vested interest in not trying to show up its referees. That's why if a yellow card is given for something that should be a red, the league just kind of sweeps it under the rug and they go, nah, you know, they let Simon Borg deal with it on instant replay on the midweek. But in this instance, especially if it makes it into Baldomero Toledo's match report, and he writes it down as an incident, and he describes it as not a foul, I think the league's going to have a very tough time justifying giving a retroactive red because you'd essentially be showing up your referee.
Well, it's something that we will watch, of course, for the Seattle Sounders. This is now the break for them. They will next play on June 13th. It will be, let's hope not, Red Card Wedding Part 2, but it will be Portland versus Seattle at Starfire in Tukwila as part of the 4th round of the U.S. Open Cup. We will all be interested to see. No Clint Dempsey for that one, and still no Jordan Morris as they are still on U.S. men's national team duty. After that, they will travel to New York City FC. That's their next MLS Cup match. But you can hear Andrew, Steven, and I as part of the Radio Cascadia podcast and Radio Cascadia live show. We'll podcast up later this week, and the live show Saturday 9 to 10 a.m. on Sports Radio 950 KGR. Toby, thanks for joining us here for Postgame on the Pitch today. It's awesome to have you. So for Toby Dunkelberg, Steven Agen, and Andrew Harvey, I'm Jackson Feltz. Thanks for watching Postgame on the Pitch.